Thank you for having me, Josh. Many of your listeners may not know, but you're like a brother to me. You're a good man. You're doing a fantastic job, on the radio, despite your producer and
Congressman,
I'm not even offended.
He talked about mesh tank tops last
I'm
time.
trying to keep up to date. That's all.
I'm not even offended. Oh no!
Oh yeah, someone's coming out. All right, hey, let's dive right in. So many things to talk about. We'll try to talk about the Middle East, but let's talk about the shutdown first. Congressman, I got witnesses here. I have my beef with Washington. Everybody does. But I always say there's always some exceptions. There's always some exceptions. And I say Congressman Higgins is one of them. I don't just say that because you're here and we are brothers and friends, but I served with you. And I got to see under the hood. And I got to know you outside of office. And it's very refreshing to just get genuine. And I say that about our Democrat friends too. Hey, look, just you be you. Now, you may be confused, okay, but we love you. But be who you are. If you are who you are on the camera, be that person off the camera, and that's what you do. And I really appreciate it. So all that passion you guys see, that is real. That ain't like get on the microphone stuff, okay? And honored to have you there. So this shutdown, man, people like me, I'll be honest with you, I might be in the minority here. I get excited.
About a shutdown?
I do.
Well, listen, we don't want it to shut down because it's a hiccup across the government infrastructures. But quite frankly, when career politicians in Washington, D.C. are not busy passing legislation that we don't need and spending money that we don't have, it can be looked at as like not a bad thing for the country. However, the Republican majority in the House passed our funding for the government on September the 19th. We sent it over to the Republican majority Senate, and they have brought it to the floor 8 times now. It's been killed by Democrats over there. Only 2 or 3 Democrats have supported the bill, and you need enough to get to a 60 vote threshold, according to their rules, the Senate rules, to bring the full bill, the actual funding bill, to the floor where it would pass with a simple majority. But you have to have 60 senators, which means you have to have 7 Democrats agreeing to bring the bill to the floor. We have not had that. So Democrats have been obstructing, and in the meantime, Republicans have been at home working. As you know, I serve 11 parishes. I have 750,000 constituents, and we have gotten a tremendous amount of work done the last couple of weeks. I've been able to touch projects that normally would have just primarily been handled by staff, and people appreciate the personal attention and the site visits and just getting involved at that level. And we have resolved some things that needed to be addressed and resolved at the constituent level here at home. So I've been appreciative of the time at home. I think D.C. is a miserable cesspool, and when I can be away from it, I enjoy working for the people I've sworn to serve here at home. So that's how I look at it. But we are driving this thing to get to convince sufficient Democrats in the Senate to agree to bring the bill to the floor, where if they want to vote against it, they can vote against it. They're actually blocking the funding bill itself from coming to the floor of the Senate for a vote. And I think that's wrong. They should allow the bill to be presented to the full Senate for a vote, and then if they want to vote against it, go ahead. But let the government move forward, which is exactly what House Republicans have done. It's what the White House supports, and that's where we stand. So we'll see what happens in the next few days. I think they're buckling under the pressure of the entire country.
I think you're correct. I think that reasonable Democrats are starting to voice their concerns.
Fetterman, man.
I love him.
I end up loving this guy.
Man, come on.
Like, from the beginning, I didn't know what to think about him. I didn't know him personally, so I refrained from public opinion.
That's fair.
But he has performed as an independent thinker, and I think he's been courageous in this deal. So hats off to my friend over there, my buddy. I'm gonna go break bread with him. I'm
absolutely.
He's a big guy,
man.
It
you
better
seems
bring
like
a credit card if you want to supper with that guy.
I might want to bring 2. Never know. Yeah, what's up with Pennsylvania, man? Manchin, he was reasonable, at least kind of in the Senate.
I met him. He was a good guy. I met him. I appreciated his candor. We disagreed on a couple of significant things that I wanted him to come on our side for, and he would not. So ultimately, I think he retired in honor.
Yeah.
By being real. So there's some good guys on the other side of the aisle. They're few and far between, and the Democrat Party's been pulled so far to the left by their base, and that it's pretty shocking to observe from the inside there. They have a communist about to be the mayor of New York City, a straight up communist,
right?
Not even hiding it.
In our lifetime,
yeah.
Like
we
thought Bernie. He's an open socialist.
He's almost like a moderate.
Bernie might be a capitalist compared to this cat.
Yeah.
Like Bernie may be like.
I'm pretty sure Bernie has some capital.
Bernie's $27. My heavy donation. That guy's a millionaire now.
Yeah.
That's his favorite impression. That's about the only one.
That's the only one I got. I don't know. Sometimes it's all right here, too. But anyway, it's a break. Oh, you can't hear it. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. We got so much more. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Today it has two hosts. The first one is Congressman Clay Higgins, and I'm the tag-along, your grateful host, Josh Guillory. All right, Congressman, let's pick up where... Well, actually, let's go to another topic. Also, Jamie Angel, my main man over there, still in.
Hey, you're right. I'm good.
Yeah, we're tired of talking about this shutdown.
Yeah, man. All right.
We're not shut down in Louisiana, baby.
No way.
We're working.
Let's do it. Yes. All right, so let's talk about Middle East. Woo. All right. You made a comment in the break. Might be true. Hope not. But man, what a great win. Let's start off with the positives. You look back Friday, Trump rolls out, stays strong for more than a week, but publicly goes in pretty strong for about 7 to 10 days. Lands this epic deal, brings how many Arab countries to the table? Just the fact.
The entire Arab world basically has endorsed this, and it's really unbelievable. I mean, Trump is literally, he's OG, man.
Yep.
And the way he handles the world, it causes the most successful diplomatic think tanks to lean back in their well upholstered chair and say Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Man, how'd they make this guy? They haven't had peace in the Middle East in 3,000 years, man. And Trump was like, I'm going to do that on Tuesday. Yeah. And because Wednesday I'm busy, so he goes or flies over there, brings it, world leaders from all over. They all sign up. They cheer him. All the hostages are returned. So, yeah, I hope the peace lasts. There's gonna be killing in Gaza. Yeah. Let me say, but not from conflict between the Israelis and Hamas. There's inter-sector battles, territorial battles in Gaza. There's some powerful criminal networks and the gangs essentially. And as they move back in, they're gonna battle for terrain and power. Anything that's left standing over there is quite valuable because, man, the Israelis pounded it into dust, man. So anything that's standing is going to be fought over, and there's going to be some death, but it's criminal death. It's not war conflict death. So it was amazing what Trump was able to do.
And these world leaders, Bibi, Trump, it's not like these are easy decisions. They know when this peace agreement, people will still die. We don't sugarcoat things on this show for our well-learned audience.
Yeah.
But they have to choose, unfortunately, who's going to die and what's the least bad option. And you couldn't continue what you were doing. I
mean, the hostages was the fulcrum point of this thing, and Trump negotiated that. Rubio, I was never I liked Senator Rubio, but I when he ran for president, I wasn't a Rubio guy. Right. And then I thought that Trump chose him as Secretary of State. I said okay because I'm pretty close with the president, and the president believed in him, but I didn't know he would step into this role as he has worldwide in several arenas and done beautiful work. So I acknowledge, his service has been most excellent and a hell of a team, the president has been able to put together at the cabinet level and restoring peace where it didn't exist and maintaining peace where it's threatened and bringing economic prosperity to the deepest corners of the world. And I just believe in the president and the job that he's doing. I'm honored to be a part of the America First agenda.
Absolutely. And you touched Congressman. We have Congressman Clay Higgins here in the Josh Guillory Show, co-hosting. And, you hear about the cabinet. A leader's only as good as who you surround yourself around. You have a wonderful staff. I'm not just saying this because you got some representation over there. Yeah, that's right. But you do. But you set the culture. You can't hire Shotan over there and set the culture. He will in his own capacity, but you're the guy. The president is the guy. BB over there, he's the guy. Whatever your opinion is of it. But the people that this president has chosen as his top leaders, pick me a better one.
He has a skill there that's unique, is for choosing people, and he's so instinctive about it. Like, he doesn't follow the traditional formulas for choosing people. Basically, if he meets you and he performs his due diligence and likes something that you've done in your life, and that personal interaction, if he's impressed, and he like says, "We'll give you a shot."
Yeah,
you might not be employed there next week, because he demands performance. But
nothing
I
wrong
like
with
the way
that.
he's running things, and any American that's got their wits about him right now, and to look at where the direction our country is headed, and say, "Wow, I support this executive branch and this president." It's only the deep Trump haters that just can't get over themselves.
It's true.
It's just like a mental condition.
It is. We're in the DSM-5. These mental health experts way more smart than me. But I think maybe in the DSM-6 when they come out, the TDS might be like way up there.
Maybe they make medication.
Small population.
And wokenese.
Oh, but that's the thing you mentioned about the
you
left.
Get medication for Trump derangement syndrome at your local cannabis distributor.
I don't know if that cures wokeism, though.
Just chill out, man. Yeah. You sit on your couch and have some Oreos, watch cartoons or something. Just leave the world alone with that Trump
get
hatred.
some munchies.
We've had enough of it. I mean, they're shooting at us. They're killing conservatives.
Yeah, it's.
Martha Jean wants to know where she can go.
We're light about it right now, but maybe we should shift gears. I mean, I think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was a turning point for our country. It was a real awakening amongst youngsters. You see what's happening. I think it's beautiful across the country in our high schools and even junior high schools, turning point USA chapters being opened, and colleges across the country just ignited with Christian passion, and I love that what I'm saying. I didn't mean to shift our topic here, but
you're my co-host.
I know you've talked about it. I think you've spoken well of it.
Thank you.
And I think it's a beautiful time to be an American.
Absolutely,
especially if I'm perhaps biased in this, but especially if you're on the right side of things, and you're embracing the core principles that made our country great. And if you're courageous enough to stand on those principles, Christian principles and conservative principles, then you'll find that there's room for you in the Republican tent.
Hands down.
And we can just roll.
Hands down. We're coming to a break. All right, so look, man, I wish I could elaborate. Congress doesn't have the headsets. I'm going to get them some, though. But, man, so much more. Let's talk about Charlie when we get back. I tell you, because there's something deep there, and I definitely want to get Clay's opinion on that. All right, guys, stick around. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, co-hosting with my dear friend, Congressman Clay Higgins. How are you doing, Congressman?
I'm fantastic because I'm on the Josh Guillory Show.
Hey!
Where's my bell?
There's so many topics to talk about. We're so thankful that you took the time to be with us and our dear, wonderful audience. We're going to open up the phone lines now. We got Congressman Higgins, 232-1542. Give the good congressman a call. Outside the Acadiana area, 844-766-6607. And I apologize, our dear Rumble audience. I see your chats over there. I'm not a good patient, you see. I don't have my contacts in.
Got a new Rumbler.
Okay.
That's real Sha.
Hey, Sha.
Says hi. What's up from Iota, Louisiana?
Iota. All right. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Let's go to
You got Sean.
Sean. You are live with Congressman Clay Higgins on the Josh Guillory Show. What you got?
All right. So Congressman Higgins has been very outspoken about January 6th. We've got new information about, what was it, 300, 274, whatever. FBI agents. A lot of people's lives were affected by something. And, Bongino used to talk every day about bombs at the DNC, RNC. Are we ever going to get a scalp? It could be a janitor. It could be anybody. Just can we have some accountability about this, please?
Yes, sir. Well, under this administration's DOJ and FBI, you're seeing action, and some of the media that you're referencing, 274 FBI agents embedded in the outside crowd. If you recall, a couple of years ago, I stated that there are estimated 200 to 250 and in total inside the Capitol and outside, and that was a conservative estimate. Based upon some deep investigation, and it turned out I was right, to our horror, but off a little bit low, because the FBI has confirmed they had 274 agents working embedded inside the crowd. That does not count who they had, what assets they had inside the Capitol, which you had to have. Ooh. We estimated at least you had to have 60 to 70 working inside the Capitol in order to guide the folks that were outside. So probably now I'm going to revise my numbers from upward from 200 to 250. I'm going to say it's 300, 350 total. And we'll see if that's proven to be correct. Accountability to me would mean arrest. Good, sir. And so we're at the investigation part. That's the way America works, the way our justice system rolls. The threshold has been crossed for reasonable suspicion, and therefore you have hundreds of Americans under investigation for being involved in the both the actions that led up to January 6th and actions that incited the crowd and entrapped Americans on January 6th, and illegal actions after January 6th during the prosecutions of Americans that were ultimately charged and, in many cases, incarcerated in solitary confinement for quite some time, over a year, some Americans. So some of those actions out of the DOJ were against the law. So I won't be satisfied until some people are wearing orange that were, at the time, were actually government employees working for the FBI and the DOJ. Some of these guys are bad, bad, bad. And they are being investigated right now. I can say that with 1,000% surety. Whether or not someone gets convicted and ultimately incarcerated, we'll see, man. You have to trust that the Trump DOJ and the Trump FBI is properly and thoroughly investigating these crimes, and to have my full support. I have a very thick file on J6, and I am on the J6 select panel that Speaker Johnson put together a few weeks ago.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. Thank you, Congressman. All right, let's stay on the phone lines. Caller, you are live on the Josh Giller Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from? That's you, caller.
Hey,
Yep.
Josh, you talking to me?
That's you, yes. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Ann from Milton, by those ponds. But anyway, my question, hi, Josh.
I know I'm talking to. Hey.
The National Guard, they are leasing that property next to the historical residential area of the Saint Street. Why wasn't any of the Saint Street residents aware of this and told? Because, I mean, National Guard, my son, did 8 years in the National Guard, but shouldn't it be by airport, not in town? My question is, why wasn't the residents of
I guess
Saint
that
Street?
question is for me. I could let me say candidly, good lady, I'm not familiar with what notices were put out, but I'm quite certain that the Louisiana Army National Guard followed state law and any federal requirements regarding community notice and awareness. They have to post things like that. Now, if it's like a temporary lease, I said then the requirement for notice would be far less than, say, new construction, new barracks, new armory. But I'm quite certain they followed it. I'm sorry if you've been disrupted at all by that. And if there's something that my office can help with, we'll be happy to look into
2
it.
doors from, I can see it from my daughter's front yard, because she lives it. And just,
That's probably the safest front yard in Louisiana, then, other than mine and Josh Guillory's. So listen, not to make light of it at all. If my office can help you, if you have specific concerns, we'd be happy to look into it. But I'm quite certain that the Louisiana Army National Guard followed the state law and federal requirements for notification.
A lot of the residents are pretty upset that, it's right there. I mean, like you said, it's going to be, a very secure neighborhood, now with the National Guard, but still, it just,
All right, we got to move on.
Okay, all right. Hey, look, thank you. Thank you so much for calling. Probably a lot of folks asking. So thank you so much. Thank you, Congressman. All right, Renee, what you got for Congressman Higgins?
Yeah, I know the president and the nation's trying to do something about George Soros and people like him in Antifa. But what can Louisiana do on its own to declare Antifa a terrorist organization and to kick all operations or deter operations from George Soros and his kinds out of Louisiana? Because I remember
regarding
back when
Antifa,
they had the Trump in Lafayette. I couldn't park anywhere I'd get a ticket because it's scared if I park there and go to a Trump event last time, they'd have a ride and they'd destroy Lafayette, most probably with Antifa. So I'm mad about that.
You can park in my spot next time, brother. But listen, are you asking about what Louisiana can do to stop Antifa?
Yeah, that was this question.
Man, let me say Antifa not fooling around with certainly not South Louisiana. Yeah, I don't know about closer to Arkansas, but Antifa not fooling around in South Louisiana. That could be a one-way trip for those boys, So what we can do as citizens, wherever we are, is stand up and pronounce Lima Charlie that we're not going to tolerate this elitist, leftist, aggressive, violent behavior, attacking our communities and our culture and our police. Oh, no, we're just not going to tolerate that.
Nope. All right, guys, look, stick around. We come back. We'll talk about a pretty interesting topic with a very interesting gentleman. I'll give him a little hint. Constitution and history. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back, and I can't wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios, also broadcasting live on rumble.com. Come check us out. I'm so honored to have my dear friend and brother, Congressman Clay Higgins, as our co-host. Thank you, Congressman.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
I wish I could capture what we were talking about right before the break and just play it for the audience. I think they would benefit so much. Before we go back to the phone lines, big day for the state and probably for the country. The case Calais is before the Supreme Court. We've talked about that before. That's the Voting Rights Act case. That's where Louisiana's involved.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
put all the politics aside. That'll all play itself out. But from the Constitution standpoint, especially interpretation, I was loving what you were saying earlier. So let's, if you don't mind, share your thoughts with the folks.
Yeah, let me just say that it is maybe in our lifetime, maybe certainly one of the most significant cases that the Supreme Court of the United States will determine. That's the Louisiana case regarding redistricting, and there's been fascinating debate over redistricting for a long time. And where the Voting Rights Act plugs into redistricting has been equally fascinating to a constitutionalist, because it's certainly a defensible position to say that there was a time in our country when the Voting Rights Act was constitutionally sound and required, and those actions were taken, and it became the law of the land, and states became subject to redistricting requirements as where race was a component. However, it's equally difficult to say that we're the same country. I mean, it's
Right.
hard to say that
Exactly.
we've elected President Obama, which required the majority of white votes.
That is a good statement.
So this is just a legitimate observation. And for a state like Louisiana or any other sovereign state to be forced to draw congressional representation districts that are based upon race as a requirement, as an extension of the Voting Rights Act, this current lawsuit that the Supreme Court is hearing arguments for, they're going to determine whether or not the Voting Rights Act still has a place in our country.
Right.
And where should that debate take place? In the Supreme Court.
There you go.
So actually, the Constitution, even to challenge unconstitutional law, is performing beautifully by embracing this argument right now in the Supreme Court. And I believe they're gonna overturn large parts of the Voting Rights Act, and basically freedom to draw congressional representation districts in every sovereign state will be restored to the sovereign states, which is where, as the founders intended. And yes, we've had amendments to our Constitution to protect every citizen's right to participate equally in our representative republic. And I think that our states have proven quite capable of embracing that responsibility, and the federal government should stay the hell out of it.
Woo, give me some.
That's how I feel about that. We'll see what they do.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I agree wholeheartedly. Let's go to our buddy Eddie. Eddie, thanks for calling into the Josh Guillory Show. Guys, the phone lines are open, 232-1542 on Rumble, outside of Acadiana area, 844-766-6607. What you got, Eddie? Bring the heat, baby.
All right, Congressman Higgins, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm one of the people that think we ought to do away with Washington, which that's never going to happen. But I appreciate a man like you, the character that you got, and stand up for it, because I've been following you for a long, long time.
Yep.
You're one of the
thank you,
few
brother.
men
You're welcome
I
in your
can say-
office in D.C. at any time, because my office that's where I work, but it belongs to you. So anytime you want to come to your office in D.C., my door's open. It's your door.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I wish they had more congressmen just like you that works for people like me, the working class, and cares about us. I wish more congressmen would do that. So I just want to tell you personally, I appreciate you, and I'll vote for you every time you come up on the ballot. And I appreciated you more whenever you was a sheriff in St. Andrew Parish. And I just want to say what they did to you that time was totally uncalled for. And that's what I got to say. And I appreciate you. You have a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thanks,
Very kind
Eddie.
of you.
Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that. All right, we got to go to this caller, Big Chris in the hizzy. What's up, Big Chris? Bring the heat, baby, on this Wednesday.
Well, thanks for the introduction. But I'm 100% with Clay Higgins. And by the way, Clay, is he in the studio right now?
Yes, right by yours truly.
Well, I worked with his wife, Becca, at Sterling Automotive, and that's a fine person. And if she picked him, he must be a fine
I don't know how that happened to me, you know. Honestly,
well, you know.
Becky and I are almost 20 years together. She's been keeping me between the ditches. Because trust me, I was all over the ditches.
That woman's a saint.
Before Becca. And,
Oh, look, and he's not lying.
And Becca is really an amazing person. And she's the center of my life besides my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I mean, Becca it keeps me aligned with the best part of me, let me say. And,
well, you know,
she's an amazing person. So thank you for acknowledging that.
What you just said, though, that's why I like fun. You said your Lord Savior first.
Whew.
And that's
Amen.
Big. That makes you, the North Star is correct, you know. That's what I'm saying.
Thanks, Big Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Man, we got about 40 seconds left in this first hour. Congressman, anything for the folks that you got for them?
Yeah, let me tell your whole audience that you are part of a beautiful thing to be an American citizen, and this is a great time to be an American because we are largely being born again of spirit across the country. And I'm talking about every ideological perspective, the young, the old, the rich, the poor, black and white. Americans are touched by the Spirit of God, and we're living in beautiful times where we are courageously re-embracing the deepest core principles that made our country great. So, and I mean that about every American. Like our families are beautiful, and the American family is quite beautiful. I'm honored to be a part of your show today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, my dear friend, dear brother. Thank you for your service to this wonderful state and country. Congressman Clay Higgins, my co-host. God bless. We'll be back shortly.
And traffic this hour brought to you by Glenn's Towing and Recovery, 989-0510, 989, a nickel and a dime. Right now, we've got a minor accident, the 700 block of the Northeast Evangeline Thruway. We've got a minor accident as well, mile marker 1, I-49 southbound. Not really seeing any backups on the map. We've got a minor accident, Camellia at Kali Saloom. A major accident, West Pinhook Road at Joe Oliver Road. We've got a minor accident, Ambassador Caffrey Parkway at Curran. And a minor accident, the 900 block of the Southeast Evangeline Thruway. So be careful as you're heading out. And if you see any issues, give us a call, 337-232-1542 on the KPL News hotline. Or download the KPL News app for free from your phone's app store. And shoot us a message using the app chat feature. Go check it out. And remember, traffic brought to you by Glenn's Towing and Recovery, 989-0510, 989, a nickel and a dime. Stick around. The Josh Guillory Show, hour number 2, starts right after this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on Rumble. I see you over there, rumble.com. Search the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your grateful host, and in studio with me still, my main man, Jamie.
And I remain here, too.
That's right.
Man, sad the congressman's gone already.
Yes.
So it's always fun when he's here. He cuts up.
So grateful for Congressman Higgins to co-host the first hour of the Josh Guillory Show. We certainly appreciate that. We certainly appreciate his insight, too. You know, we cover these topics a lot, and we see all this stuff from the outside looking in, and we share our own individual perspectives, sure. And maybe on this show, you know, we can maybe bring a little local lens to it every once in a while, but to have someone who does live here and actually represents us over there, that's good. And you know he keeps it real. So we really appreciate my dear buddy, Congressman Higgins. Real good dude, man. Real good guy. Honest. At the end of the day, can you just be honest? Can you
gotta be.
Did you just keep it real? Like, we got it, man. We're not looking for perfect. We're not looking for perfect. We can't even get to good. Trying, though. We're trying. We're getting there. A lot of good stuff with the president, a lot of good stuff with the administration. I think Speaker Johnson has the opportunity to do a lot of great things as well, and he has his teammates like the good congressman. So let's move on to Governor Newsom. What's up with all this? Okay, so a little power grab maybe a little, I don't know, maybe disguised as democracy maybe, I don't know. Let's see here. So I got a CNN report from Eric John and David Wright. They say California Governor Newsom has made himself the face of Proposition 50, a ballot measure that would redraw, check this out, it would redraw congressional maps and give Democrats up to 5 extra House seats. Now, I'll address the differences between this and Texas. Texas, you may hear this argued, well, they're just doing what Texas did. Nope, not even close. But we'll break it down here in a little bit if we have time, and I think we will. So Newsom calls it the Election Rigging Response Act. The Election Rigging Response Act. I mean, come on. He claims it's needed to counter Texas Republicans' mid-decade redistricting, but it's really about, we know what it's about. It's about locking in Democrat power and building his national brand. For 2028, he's been building that for quite some time. He's raised over $108 million, more than twice the opposition to this proposition, and plastered his face across all these ads, podcasts, live streams, like he is it. I mean, you got Barack Obama, Planned Parenthood, and unions are backing him. I mean, they're not holding back. And his message, you might ask, what's his message over there? Now, stop Trump. Just stop Trump. Just stop. Mean orange man bad. That's all he sees. That's all he sees. Kevin McCarthy, you see that? He's been vocal. Hey man, shout out. You know, whatever. That's good. He's fighting the good fight. So he's saying that this is a straight up power grab. I agree, former speaker. They're warning that voters, they're warning voters that Newsom wants the same failed politicians who ran California into the ground, to draw their own little safe little seats. Okay. Now, even Democrat strategists, this is where you gotta see now. This is a CNN article, by the way, that I'm referencing. Even Democrat strategists like, and I'm gonna butcher his name, but I know Stephen Maviglio.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen, but he's a contributor to CNN. Anyway, you laughing at me too? Anyway, I got the first letter right. The M. Oh, okay, good. I feel better now. All right. Voters already, now here's the deal. Voters already, over there in California, they already created what they call an independent redistricting commission. And the whole point was to keep politicians out of it. The complete opposite of what you're seeing the governor over there wanting to do with this proposition and other actions. He's now trying to overrule it. That's what Newsom wants. Newsom, Barack Obama, Planned Parenthood. Like, what's Planned Parenthood? Planned Parenthood should not get a single dollar ever. How are you involved in politics? Like, if like I said, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Like, stop getting our money. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like PBS. I love PBS. I am not anti-PBS. That's the one that has Sesame Street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Sesame Street when I was little. And I've seen a few documentaries that are good on PBS, but that doesn't mean they deserve everybody's tax dollars when we have other priorities. And if you're good, hey, go be PBS, go be NPR, go be you, go be Planned Parenthood if that's what your thing is. It's not mine. It's very far from it. But you should not be getting all of our money.
They don't need our money. Corporation for Public Broadcasting makes millions of dollars. You remember, by the Fred and Nancy Myers Foundation. They got money. So keep doing that. When you were mayor president, what was your big thing? Public-private partnerships. That's what makes things work.
That made sense. I like short-term deals. I like things that you can see in ROI, and I like to have local control that you can end it like that. if there's any abuse or any or not producing. But that's my model, and that's not actually mine. Many people do it, and it typically is more. But that's local rule. That's local government. That's how conservatives like to govern. That's why I question when we go away from that. But let's go back to this. So remember, in California, there's this independent redistricting commission. That's what the voters wanted. They voted that. Sole purpose was to take politics out. So nothing but objective, trying to be an objective, apolitical commission that draws these maps. So here's the difference between California and Texas. Texas followed its constitution. The legislature drew new maps through the legal process. California over there, they're rewriting its own rules midstream purely to give Newsom and the DNC more control. That is a far stretch from democracy. It looks a little bit more like manipulation. It's also pure ambition if you think about it. I mean, look at your boy. That's like, he's been running for president. He's been running for president for about 3 years. I mean, all those debates with DeSantis. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man.
I forgot about the DeSantis.
Yeah. I think maybe someone thought that it would be like the Lincoln Johnson debates.
Lincoln
Douglas, not Johnson. Johnson followed Lincoln.
Listen, that no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right, guys, look, we'll cover this and so much more. Stick around. We'll be right back. Just a tiny, tiny little break. No. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Acadiana. That's South Louisiana for all of our friends outside this great state. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. Let me see you over there. I certainly appreciate that chat. Hey, Robert D. Benoit, former chief of staff over there at LCG, my dear friend. He said some flattering things about the congressman, said it's the most responsive staff in his 49 years of government career, in his 49-year government career. That says a lot. He served at the local level, made it all the way up there towards the top there, serves at the state level, and I agree, my dear former chief of staff, I agree.
That's real shit. Okay, my water looking skinnier than a crawfish tail after Lent.
Yeah. Who's that?
That's real shit. Our new follower.
All right. Hey, thank you all, guys. All right, let's see here. So let's go back to, this is a topic. Let's go back to the Supreme Court case. Let's go back to the map. I thought it was important, and I loved what Congressman Higgins, who my co-host earlier, appreciate it. I thought he said some pretty solid things on maybe and this is something that I thought maybe liberal jurists could kind of meet in the middle. He mentioned doesn't have an expiration date, or doesn't what's basically what was good, what that the interpretation 150 years ago, that was made based on some facts. The facts today are not the same as then. So under these new facts, would the analysis give the same answer? I would say no. I would say we're different times. And I would agree with I agree with the congressman saying at the time probably made sense. It probably made sense to ensure that minorities were not getting unjustly discriminated against. That's the government can't unjustly discriminate any class of people that are similarly situated to another class of people differently unless they pass certain requirements that the Supreme Court has deemed appropriate in its interpretation of the Constitution. Now, that said, we also know there's a little more to it than that very, very well-established analysis that my dear friend gave earlier in hour one. We know that there was some politics in there. My question here is, if the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional, if it's unconstitutional now, then it was unconstitutional when we drafted the map. So why did we defend an unconstitutional map? That's my only question. I'm just asking. I love the AG. I am not. People, please don't misinterpret my my thought process here. Okay, I don't think we have to be legal scholars to follow this one. All right. If we think the map is unconstitutional, or if the act is unconstitutional now, the act did not change. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the act changed. I know it didn't. So if it didn't change, why wasn't the act unconstitutional then? And why did we spend so much money defending an unconstitutional map? I'm just asking.
For a friend.
Yeah.
Martha Jean.
I'm asking for Martha Jean.
Martha Jean ain't got a damn clue what's going on with all that.
Map?
Martha Jean's like, you think the Supreme Court can help me with some tickets I forgot to pay 10 years ago? No, Martha Jean. Not even Guy can help you with that. Poor girl.
All right, so let's go to this little story here. The Center Square's Nolan McKendry, that's who I'm referencing. He's reporting that, we're arguing at the U.S. Supreme Court today that the part of the Voting Rights Act and what we talked about earlier in hour number 1, Section 2, just that little section. The question is whether or not that section is unconstitutional. This is the same Calais versus Louisiana case we've been covering, and the rest of the mass media has been covering as well. And it's been bouncing around, by the way, for several years. So what started as a redistricting dispute has now turned into a national test of how far Washington can push race-based politics into elections. So the case from a legal standpoint, if you're like a legal nerdy-gurdy birdie, you would love this.
Oh, boy. Oh, get ready, everybody.
Hey!
Get some coffee.
I'll spare everybody. But I really like it because it's true, because it will answer a national question, a national legal question that I think will help guide us and give us law and order. Now, we may not like it, but one thing we can say is under our system that does give law and order. And right now, when you have questions of law that are not answered, it is appropriate, if the legislative body won't clarify, that the Supreme Court, and that takes a while by design, should give some clarity to those unquestioned or unanswered legal questions. So very important. So this has a big national implication. So for that, I agree. Now, let me say right now, I love what our Attorney General is arguing right now. I love this argument. I don't know why we didn't lead in with it. I would have led in with it. You know what I'm saying?
Lean with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would have done it too, like this on Rumble. Y'all feel me? Y'all feel me on Rumble? Come on.
They are picking up what you were throwing at them.
So here's the issue. Our own attorneys right now that we're paying for, they're telling the court that Section 2's race-conscious map, because I want to break it down. I don't want to just, hit the surface level. What we're telling the court, our position right now is that Section 2's race-conscious map drawing rules, they're inconsistent with both the 14th and the 15th Amendments. They're arguing that Congress, now follow on this, they're arguing that Congress never justified keeping a law that forces states to divide voters by skin color. That's a very, very big distinction that our state is arguing. So our AG, Attorney General Liz Murrill, she says that the Constitution, quote, sees neither black voters nor white voters, only American voters. We agree. On all fronts. Color neutral and only American. I mean, it's an American election. Jeez. On the other side, of course, the NAACP and the NAACP and the ACLU wants to support racism here.
Those are bastions of freedom.
Yeah, it looks just like it. Think about it. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Okay, you're saying it's cool to discriminate based on race, like. ACLU, they should call it the ACSLU, the American Civil Selective Liberties Union, because they skip a few amendments. They don't like the second.
It's none of my business, and quite frankly, none of yours.
They skip over the Second Amendment. They skip over the 10th Amendment. Those two don't exist to them. So for a little reality, not a reality. We already know it's a reality. I'm going to rattle through it, but it's going to be hard for me, okay? But I put my notes, and I feel like, maybe we need a little reminder. So, Louisiana has a Republican supermajority legislature. A supermajority. House, supermajority. Senate, and a Republican governor.
You had to put that in your notes?
I had to put it in my notes to remind myself not to skip over it. Yeah, that's what's actually
irony there.
No, actually, I might need to put it in I might need to read my notes more every day. I forgot.
Outsider would only know.
Wait, John Bell's not in.
An outsider would only know that we're a super Republican state by seeing some notes, probably, because the way we act is not.
I'll post my notes so you can. No, guys, I promise the people really are. I promise. Hey, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Phone lines are open, and I cannot wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live from Rumble. Let me see you over there at Rumble. Rumble.com. I certainly appreciate you guys. I see you. Thank you. All right, guys, let's see here. Phone lines are open. 232-1542, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. You can chat us over there at Rumble, rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. I certainly appreciate it. We got some good chats over there. Hey, so this Voting Rights Act. Right now, just remember Calais versus Louisiana. That's the case. That's the big case. Been bouncing around a couple of years. It's now in front of the Supreme Court. Arguments began on the issue of whether or not Section 2 of the Constitution, the Voting Rights Act, is unconstitutional. That's the race, drawing congressional districts or drawing any kind of political districts on race. It's going to test that. This case is going to test the test. It's going to force, not really force, because the Supreme Court asked for this. They asked for these briefings, these arguments on this issue. Now, Louisiana. Now this is the Cleo Fields district. Okay, this is the district that allowed Cleo Fields to run and win. It's the district that Republicans here in this state just voluntarily gave the Democrats a seat to. Didn't have to. Wasn't ordered to. Didn't have to.
It's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're so nice. Mm-hmm. It's so generous.
Speaker Emeritus appreciates it. That's Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy P.
I think that's her title. I think that's what they call her. Am I right?
Emeritus.
Yeah.
Speaker Emeritus.
Yeah. But Louisiana defended this map. Louisiana, our state, defended this map and said, no, it's cool, Republicans. Just give that seat away. Well, now Louisiana is taking the position that the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional. Well, this whole time we've been arguing over my objection, Jamie's objection, everybody's objection, most people's objection, definitely Republicans who are scratching their head, not forced to do it, not ordered to do it, just willy-nilly. Here you go. We all know why. But we'll go somewhere else with that. But yeah, so now all of a sudden we're arguing that the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional. So if you were defending the map for a year and a half now, saying that under the Voting Rights Act, this is what we have to do, now all of a sudden we're saying the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional because it discriminates based on race, something we conservatives have been saying for a long time. So if the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional now, the Voting Rights Act, Section 2 there, was unconstitutional when we doggone were defending it under the dang unconstitutional act. Y'all feel me? Y'all, is everybody with me on this? Like, am I the only? A equals B, B equals. It's not even that. It just doesn't make sense. What changed? The Voting Rights Act didn't change. The Voting Rights Act didn't change. The demographic, we didn't take a new census. That didn't change. What changed? Why didn't we argue this the first time?
I was told to give you a message.
Oh, what's up?
Our friend Desio.
I don't know if I want to ask.
I don't know if you saw me cracking up. He said, tell JG he's 3 push-ups away from filling out that shirt. A little motivation to keep Hegseth off his you-know-what.
Hey, I heard Pete Hegseth's message. I never resigned my commission. I'm ready, baby. I don't know if they'll accept me, but
Cajun 94 is in there. Love the show. Another name I haven't seen, Tiger Mott, I believe, says,
yeah.
Hey, Josh, do they sell smart water in D.C.? Asking for a friend.
Do they sell what?
Smart water.
Hey, if not, I know a new business we need. I always said to our delegation, make sure you bring water, bottled water. Don't drink any of that water from there.
It's like Mexico. You get some of that Montezuma's revenge
from
in your brain.
From Mexico.
You get some of them RFK brain rock.
Come on.
Get the worms in my brain.
RFK Jr. hadn't heard from him in a while. Or have we?
Up there, my wife was on The View yesterday, and they were very rude to her. But she put them in their place.
Was she really?
Yeah. Cheryl Hines is his wife. Most people don't know, but she's a very famous actress. She was on Broadway, just real famous. And a lot of her liberal friends are trying to wrap their heads around the fact that her husband is in the Trump administration.
Well, her husband understands duty. Her husband comes from a belief that when the president of the United States calls you and asks you for your service, you don't even question it. You just say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, and you go serve your country. That is what happens. And of all people, Trump and RFK Jr. should really serve as an example. Trump and RFK Jr. probably disagree on 70% of policy. I mean, Green New Deal, RFK Jr.'s all in with the green stuff.
He doesn't even like bears. I just don't understand. Or whales.
That ain't right. Talking about the bears.
I love how The View just by associate, your husband is doing this, so that you must be a bad person now.
Man,
what's wrong with them?
That guy is helping our country so much. RFK Jr., if you are interested in truth, if truth is important, and I think most people want truth. That's why it's so frustrating. I know we only get real solid truth 2 hours a day on the Josh Giller Show. But outside of that, I know it's frustrating. We got to look around. We got to guess. We got to watch a little bit of this and then a little bit of that. Maybe read a little bit of this. Throw in a little bit of that, and then we may know the truth.
Breaking news.
What's up?
Judge halts layoffs of federal workers during shutdown. Why? How?
And just to clarify, so all right, so there was a push recently. Actually, no, there was a decision to actually lay off the federal workers that were furloughed, and this judge is saying, nope, you can't do that.
He can. He can.
Can he?
OMB.
That's right. I remember reading it, seeing a connection, not remembering. So OMB, that's right.
Mm-hmm. What do they call them? RIFs?
I don't remember.
Something.
But over a certain amount of days, then that kicks
reduction
in
force, I believe, or
something. Or that
reduction in something.
Hey, it's all good, man. I tell you what, though, I know that we're making the right argument now, so I want to be on the positive. I appreciate what the state is doing. I appreciate you fighting for equality and for real. I appreciate you fighting against racism. I appreciate you taking carrying the torch. That's a good thing. We can wrap our arms around that, and at least we whatever the motivations were, because I think the folks that drew that map on the Republican side started to feel the political pressure. And they're like, wait a minute, we're so wrong on this. Wait, guys, we underestimated the folks' intelligence. They actually, you get what I'm saying? And then they crawfish.
I mean,
and they're like,
nice fantasy.
oh, wait a minute. It's the Voting Rights Act.
I think they went all into this head first, knowing exactly what they were doing. And then they fought back against the court because they didn't want the court drawing their maps. So I don't know. It's just weird.
So are you saying that this was all a plotted plan? And that create a case or controversy to put this very question in front of the Supreme Court, whether or not the Voting Rights Act Section 2 is unconstitutional? Because if that's what you're saying was plotted, that would be some clever maneuvering, in my opinion.
I refuse.
And I think you're giving too much credit.
I refuse to give them that much credit.
Exactly.
You have lost your mind, my friend. If you think that I think that they did this by design to help us in the long run.
Because I got to tell you, I said Mike Johnson was either he had no clue or he was the wisest person in Washington when he agreed to do that at 1 point something billion to Ukraine or 1 point whatever it was that we didn't like. But he was honest about it. It was all about politics. It was all about being elected. It was all about getting the majority. And I said he may be the wisest guy of us all. Get through this. Get the House, Senate, and the presidency. It came through, but it's what you do with it. It's what you do with it. So we can start by Joni Ernst, $2.1 trillion cut. Just throwing that out there. Have I mentioned that? Has anybody mentioned?
I even threw a story in there about it today.
She's not from Iowa, right? She's from Iowa. Okay, yeah. Joni Ernst. Yeah, Ernst. I think I heard that before. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate your participation over there at Rumble. Be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.